The $2.8 million question. What happens when the owner becomes visible? There's a number from our Business Visibility Index study that keeps coming up in every conversation I have with business owners. It's not the 46% invisibility rate. It's not the 28% traffic decline. It's this one, $2.8 million. That's the 3-year cumulative revenue difference between a small company at $7.5 million, where the brand is visible to AI, but the owner is invisible, versus one where both are visible. For a mid-sized company, $23.9 million, the number is $8.9 million. Same company, same brand visibility, same industry. The only variable that changes is whether the person behind the business has built earned third-party presence in sources AI actually trains on. That's not a branding exercise. That's a business decision with a dollar value attached to it. 3 scenarios, 3 trajectories. When we built the revenue projection for the Business Visibility Index, we modeled 3 paths, not 2, 3, because the story isn't just visible versus invisible. It's about what kind of visibility you build. Current path, you do nothing new. The web-dependent portion of your revenue, which ranges from 20% to 50%, depending on your industry, erodes at the rates we observed in the study. Your offline channels hold for now, but weaken gradually as your digital presence fades. This is where 46% of business owners currently sit. Visible brand. You invest in making the company discoverable by AI. Good GEO strategy. Content that AI can extract and cite. Editorial directory presence, active company social media. The brand becomes visible. Traffic stabilizes and begins to recover through that new channel. This is what good digital marketing strategy achieves. The third one, visible brand plus visible owner. Everything in the second scenario plus the owner builds personal authority. Podcast appearances, press mentions, trade publication features, speaking engagements. The owner becomes someone AI can name, cite, and recommend alongside the company. And 3 compounding multipliers kick in. The gap between scenario 1 and scenario 2 is real and worth pursuing. But the gap between scenario 2 and scenario 3 is where the real money is. That's the owner multiplier. Where the multiplier comes from. When the owner becomes visible, 3 things happen that don't happen with brand visibility alone. AI referral traffic converts at 4.4 times according to SEMrush. Visitors arriving through AI search platforms convert at 4.4 times the rate of traditional Google organic. Seer Interactive found ChatGPT referrals converting at 15.9%. Perplexity at 10.5%, compared to Google Organic at 1.76%. AI pre-qualifies the buyer. They've described their problem, evaluated recommendations, and decided to act before they click through. That channel only opens when AI can actually cite and recommend you. For the owner to be part of that recommendation, the owner needs to be visible. Visible leaders close deals faster. Companies with visible executives close deals 30% faster. When a prospect already has encountered the owner's name in a trade publication, heard of them on a podcast, or seen AI cite them as a credible authority, the trust-building phase of the sales process compresses. The prospect arrives pre-sold on the person, not just the company. Our model applies a conservative 12% revenue uplift from this effect, ramping it in over 3 years. Visible leaders command pricing power. The Edelman LinkedIn B2B Thought Leadership Impact Report found that 42% of decision makers will pay more to work with organizations whose leaders demonstrate expertise through thought leadership. We discounted that to a 15% average pricing premium, applied to growing share of deals as the owner visibility compounds. That premium doesn't show up in traffic numbers. It shows up in average deal size and margin. None of these factors exist in the visible brand scenario alone. They only activate when the owner builds personal authority on top of the company's presence. That's why the gap between the 2 scenarios is $2.8 million for small companies and $8.9 million for mid-size over 3 years. The data supports it. In our 400 company study, the quadrant data tells this story clearly. Companies in the both visible quadrant, where the owner and the company are both above the median, grew traffic at 2.5% year over year. Companies in the company leads quadrant, company visible, owner invisible, declined at negative 5.7. Same brand presence. One has the owner behind it, the other doesn't. The owner is the difference between growth and decline. And the head-to-head comparisons within industries are even more striking. In legal, same state, same profession, one attorney builds personal visibility through press coverage, speaking, and editorial citations. The other doesn't. The visible attorney's firm grows traffic by triple digits. The invisible one declines. Same market, same profession. The owner is the variable. What becoming visible actually takes. This is the part where you assume I'm going to describe a 12-month personal branding initiative with a PR firm on retainer and a ghostwriter producing LinkedIn posts. I'm not. The data shows the bar is much lower. The difference between the invisible tier and the visible tier in our study often comes down to 2 or 3 earned placements, not 20. Not a media blitz, a podcast appearance on an industry show, a contributed article in a trade publication, a press mention in a local business journal, a quote in a vertical media outlet. These are the sources AI trains on. A single feature in a trade publication carries more weight in our scoring model than 10 directory listings. Quality over quantity. The scoring model rewards being referenced by credible third parties, not having the most pages indexed. The 33% of owners in the emerging tier, scoring between 25 and 49, are the ones closest to a breakout. They have some presence, AI can detect them, but doesn't trust them enough to recommend them yet. For most of them, 2 or 3 strategic earned placements would push them into the visible tier. Now, that's not years of work, that's a focused quarter. The window is open because nobody is in it. In most of the industries we studied, the competitive field for AI visibility is wide open. Only 2% of owners reached the authority tier. Only 20% made it to visible or above. The vast majority of owners in every vertical haven't started building AI discoverable presence. That means the first movers get an outsized advantage. When there are only a handful of visible owners in your market and your industry, being one of them means AI has fewer people to recommend. You show up not because you outcompeted a crowded field, but because you were one of the few who showed up at all. That window won't stay open. As more owners catch on to GEO, or generative engine optimization, and AI visibility, the competitive threshold rises. The businesses building now are building into an empty field. Businesses that wait will be building into a crowded one. The owner is the multiplier. The brand gets you found, the owner gets you chosen. Making the company visible to AI is the first step, and it's worth doing, but the full economic value of AI visibility only unlocks when the person behind the company builds their own earned presence. That's when AI referrals start converting at 4.4 times. That's when the deals close faster. That's when prospects are willing to pay a premium. $2.8 million for a small company, $8.9 million for a mid-sized company over 3 years. That's the gap between brand visibility and brand plus owner visibility. The question isn't whether the owner visibility matters. The data answers that. The question is whether you're going to build it now, while the field is still open, or later when it's crowded. To see where you stand, use our free AI visibility calculator to estimate your position and see the 3-year projection for your industry. Want your actual number? Request a free visibility audit. We'll run the same AI query methodology against your specific business in your market with your actual competitors. If you want the full data, the complete visibility index report that covers 400 businesses across 5 industries, you can download it at businessvisibilityindex.com.